You're now listening to the Wednesday Night AAF podcast.
Don't talk about that team that plays desert.
Here are your hosts, Nick and Logan.
Hey everybody, Nick here with the Wednesday Night AAF podcast. You can follow us on Twitter at AAF Wednesday. Week 5 of the AAF is in the books, which was an exciting week of football. I'm joined by my co-host tonight, Logan. How's it going, Logan? And what'd you think of Week 5 in the AAF?
Welcome to the AAF podcast. Don't talk about that team that plays in the desert.
Also, returning to the podcast this week is Bill and Alex from the Reddit subreddit RAAFB. How's it going, guys?
It's good to be here. Thanks for having us back, man. We had a lot of fun last week.
I'm doing okay. We're preparing for a blizzard. It was 65 degrees today, and it's going to snow over a foot tonight.
So we'll go ahead and start talking about the highest attendance this past week. Goes to the San Diego Fleet, 20,823, and our own Bill was there. How was it, Bill?
I gotta say, it was a lot different than I was expecting. From the second I got into the stadium at Qualcomm, or SDCCU, whatever they call it now, you could really feel the energy. People were excited. There was a lot of Fleet gear going around, people tailgating, a lot of kids. And then once the game started, it was impressive. I'm really, really excited for the prospect of San Diego Fleet football, because if they keep up what they did last week, man, they're going places, I gotta say.
Yeah. And then you had, rounding out, the Legends at 10,829, and the Hot Shots coming in last place at 9,351.
Where are you, ASU students? Not showing up at all.
And they're able to get free tickets as well. They're hiding tickets in random places. I don't understand.
I would go if I lived around there.
I agree. I would be the same way, Logan.
Yeah, you would think that Arizona would be drawn more. I mean, I can't believe that they're getting outdrawn by Atlanta, to be honest, but I don't know.
I'm really mad because the Hot Shots average attendance is beating the Stallions' average attendance by 17 people.
Which the season average for the Stallions is 9,972 compared to the Hot Shots of 9,989.
It looks like the sub gap for T-Series versus PewDiePie.
Oh my goodness. Subscribe to PewDiePie, everybody. Because T-Series ain't nothing but a bitchless on. Moving on. Our midseason awards. We'll start with the offensive MVP currently. Alex.
That's a really difficult question for me, but I'm going to have to go with the wide receiver for the Apollos, Charles Johnson.
Okay.
Stealing my thunder.
We can share, Bill.
We can. I guess we're going to have to, because I also am going with Charles Johnson. I mentioned last week I'm a big fan of his, so I'm trying not to let the bias jump in the way here, but he's looked incredible. He's made some incredible plays. He's affecting every game he's been in. You know, he's definitely got the best quarterback throwing it to him, but their chemistry is unparalleled right now.
Then we talked last week a little bit about how effectively he can run his routes. I haven't seen a better route runner yet in any of these games. That doesn't mean necessarily that there isn't one, but definitely not one that stood out as much.
Right.
Yep, he looks smooth and fluid.
And would y'all say that he's going to be one of the top picks coming out of the AAF going into the NFL offseason?
Oh, I have no idea what that's going to look like.
I'd say there's a really good chance he gets re-signed. I mean, out of these guys that are in this league, he's been in the NFL quite a few years. I mean, he played 3 solid years with the Vikings. I mean, he didn't really amount to much, but I think it's a good chance he'll end up back there at some point. I don't know for who or, anything like that, but I'd say he will.
At least a practice squad.
Right.
At minimum, I know we can say that he is smooth and fluid, and so we can call him Smooid. He is the most smooid wide receiver in the AAF.
All right, we just coined a new word there for you.
Smooid. Hashtag Smooid. I'm gonna make it a thing.
We'll have to
Logan.
reach out to Alex for the spelling on that one.
Yeah.
The smelling, indeed.
Logan, who is your pick?
I'm gonna go with his quarterback Garrett Gilbert. It might be between these two guys. It's tough. One can't do one without the other. They've been on fire together. I just look at like Garrett Gilbert's numbers, like even from this past week, like they're so consistent each week. Like just for instance, Gilbert was like 23 for 35. Those numbers are very similar every single week, and no interceptions, which is huge in a league where you do see a lot of interceptions thrown. He's my offensive player midway through this year.
Okay. I also had Garrett Gilbert. I feel like he's been a monster thus far in the AAF. And I, too, believe that it's going to come down to Garrett Gilbert and Charles Johnson. I think it's possible that we have a co-MVP after the ship. By the way, the ship, for those that are wondering why I keep calling the ship, I have coined the championship game the ship.
It's really marketable if the fleet end up in the ship.
It's highly possible.
It is. They, I was looking at the Vegas odds for it, and they were the third team, I believe, at 6-1 odds, something like that.
You remember when the Hot Shots were number one at the beginning? I mean, that team from the desert was the number one team.
Yeah, they were bringing winning back to Arizona.
Fun times. We'll move on to defensive MVP. Alex, who'd you get?
Carter Schultz. He's still leading the league in sacks, even after not having a sack for one of his games. Very impressive and consistent performance by him. When he's not getting sacks, he's getting QB pressures. He's making solo tackles. And I'm going to point out, I think one of the reasons why he is so effective rushing the quarterback is because he has his roommate and tag team pass rusher Luke Carazola on the other side, who's giving just as much hell to the offensive line. And when in a league like this where you can only rush 5, they are absolutely crushing it.
I would agree. Bill, who you got?
I'm going to go with Jamar Summers, cornerback for the Iron. I don't think he shows up a lot in the stats every week, but his influence on the game has been pretty stout. So I'm a big fan. He's got 2 interceptions. He's got a couple pass defenses. He's got some tackles. He's made some good plays. I really think he's looked very solid out there. And I know he doesn't. I read some article. He doesn't like to talk about himself. He doesn't like to hear about the praise and all that. He's totally focused on the game. But I got to give it to him. I think he's been pretty good. Someone I could see also moving up to at the end of the year. So we'll see.
Okay, Logan.
Before I do name my defensive, I would like to give an honorable mention to a guy from the desert for offensive. Ross, Rashad Ross. I think he gets an honorable mention. He's kind of been that team's kind of only shining point right now. Despite everything going on, he's still playing pretty well. But on the defensive side, I would give it to Keith Reiser from the Orlando Apollos. He has the best passer rating allowed with a 77.6 passer rating while in coverage. He's allowed only 8 catches on 22 targets for 78 yards on the season, with 3 interceptions and 6 pass breakups through 5. Him and Summers are very, very good. That's kind of your elite cornerbacks in the league that I could see maybe going to the NFL next season.
Gotcha. My pick for defensive MVP, Carter Schultz, the guy to get signed to the WWE after this season. He has been amazing, and if he does not get signed to the WWE, I will be very surprised, and he will end up getting signed to the Miami Dolphins instead.
All right. I'm going to put you down on that one.
All right. Moving on to Coach Midseason Award. Alex, who you got?
Head ball coach, no question.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I think he's how can you argue with 5-0?
All right, I agree. I also had Steve Spurrier. Logan, did you have Steve Spurrier?
Yes, and at the same, but here's something I've been thinking about as well. What about Kevin Coyle for the Atlanta Legends? Different aspect that this team was dead and buried, and all of a sudden the Atlanta Legends are right in the thick of things in the East playoff race. I give it to Steve Spurrier, but I think Kevin Coyle is an honorable mention for sure.
Okay, all right. Moving on to best field. Alex?
If only for the turnout, I think it's the San Antonio Commanders field. I can't remember the name of the field at the moment, but
Alamo Dome.
The Alamo Dome, that's right. It's looked good on broadcasts, and I mean, just the fan turnout is amazing.
Alrighty. Bill?
I'm also going to have to go with the Alamo Dome. Beyond the obviously impressive attendance they've had, that stadium just rocks, man. You know, it's small enough that they can really make it feel full, and it looks full on the field. Yeah, they've been doing pretty good turnout, so I'm going with the Alamo Dome as well.
Logan?
I am not going to disagree at all. The Alamo Dome, it kind of gives like a college basketball, kind of a NBA playoff type feel to it. They're filling it out with 30,000 people. It gets loud in there. It comes off well on the TV. They got the toughest place to play at, I think, in the whole league, and it's just awesome to watch.
And I picked Sun Devil Stadium only for the hot shots, only because of shot, everybody! And then, of course, the chainsaw noises when they're actually doing well for third downs.
That team in Phoenix.
Yeah, that team.
Not Phoenix.
That team in Tempe. Tempe.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I gotta ask, Bill, why didn't you pick Qualcomm Stadium?
Without pissing off all the San Diego listeners, I'm not a fan of that stadium, man. I got a big gash on my knee trying to climb over this gate to get down to the field level. Man, I understand why they wanted a new stadium.
Hey, what helps them though? At least they have the crowd.
Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely, but it's yeah, I think they would draw more if they had a better stadium. But for this league, I mean, it's probably one of the better stadiums for this league just because of its size. I mean, it's a huge stadium. You know, they could fill it up to the brim somehow, maybe if they gave away free tickets. But it is quite large there. So,
moving on to honorable mentions. Alex, any honorable mentions?
DeMornay Pearson-L on the Stallions deserves an honorable mention. If only for his Twitter tag, which is "Don't Punt."
I do like that one.
Every time that we cover a Stallions game on the Twitter account, I have fun tagging him in tweets when he makes big plays. But I think he's an excellent receiver who doesn't have a star quarterback throwing to him. Josh Woodrum is middle of the pack in terms of what we've seen so far in the AAF, but Pearson-L is showing up, making contested catches. Fun to watch.
All right, Bill?
Well, I was going to say Rashad Ross, but we've already covered that, so I'm going to switch on the fly here and go with Younghoe Koo.
No, that was my pick.
Younghoe or is it Young Wei? I thought it was Young Wei Koo.
Is it? I'm probably going to get grilled for that. But yeah, you might be right. But, you know, he was kind of the scapegoat a little bit in San Diego. Obviously didn't do so well in the NFL, but he's 11 for 11 on field goals. He's got the game winner for his team this week, I believe it was. So shout out to him for sure. Got to get those special teamers out there.
Alrighty. And Logan, you already had your honorable. All right, fine. One more.
I know he didn't play well against the Hot Shots, but let me just throw in Kenneth Farrow. He's had a good year despite last week's not so great game. He's ran the ball well. He's just another one I'd like to mention. I think he deserves to at least be mentioned.
All right. So I have two. First off, well, it's the Met Show. Zach Mettenberger has come in and shown that these kids are basically his toys, and he's on a totally different level. And then my second is Trent Richardson, only because how many touchdowns does he have? I feel like he has like
1 million.
10 touchdowns by now.
The thing is, every time we say touchdowns, he gets another touchdown.
Yeah.
And he loses half a yard on his average.
I believe it.
Got some breaking news, AAF-wise. Matt Asiata has been placed on the injured reserve and is done for the season.
Oh,
His pride was injured after he lost the starting job on that fumble.
Yeah. And the sad thing is, when they were hyping up the AAF at the beginning of the year, he was one of the ones that they were like, Matt Asiata, former Minnesota Vikings running back.
Yeah,
And
I thought he was going to give Trent Richardson a run for his money in terms of who was going to be carrying at the goal line.
yeah, I thought he was going to be the original Trent Richardson in the AAF.
Was he hurt last week or something? Because, I was sitting behind the Stallions bench, and me and my friend we kept talking about that. Like, why isn't Asiata out there? Why isn't he out there? He just was sitting on the sideline most of the game. So I don't think he got hurt in the last game, did he? I mean, he barely even played. So that's interesting.
Yeah. Moving on to our Week 5 review. I'll go ahead and start things off with the Orlando Apollos beating the Birmingham Iron 31-14. No surprise there. Orlando started off blasting the Iron 14-0 in the first quarter. The Iron were able to come back and score 14 points in the second and third, making up their grand total of 14 points in the entire game. Orlando did not let up, and they scored another... sorry, I can't count. 14, 15, 16, 17. Sorry. So, Orlando Apollos scored another 17 points and did not let off the gas to beat Birmingham Iron. Garrett Gilbert had 2 touchdowns, 2 2-point conversions, and spread the ball off a lot. 1 touchdown to Charles Johnson, 1 2-point conversion to Charles Johnson, 1 touchdown to Scott Orndorff, no relation to Paul Orndorff, and then 1 2-point to Jalen Marshall. This game was kind of rough for the Iron. They finally took Luis Perez out.
Finally.
Yeah,
Man.
finally.
After his first passing touchdown.
Yeah. And did you hear that he learned how to play quarterback off YouTube? I thought that was kind of interesting. I've heard that before.
Keith Price, the guy who they ended up benching Luis Perez for Keith Price, scored a touchdown. Luis Perez still does not have a touchdown to his name yet in the AAF. Trent Richardson got another touchdown. Yards per carry is still 2.6 with 8 carries, 21 yards.
Long of 6.
Right.
Bill, did you see there's been a user on our AAFB that's been posting every week, and his post is just, I'm going to post this every week until Trent Richardson is over 3 yards a carry.
Yep.
He's never going to get to stop. Yeah.
Brandon Ross had a touchdown. Quentin Patton had a 2-point conversion. Outside of that, nothing really else going on for the Iron. They are 3-2, have lost 2 straight. Should people start worrying about the Iron's chances to make the playoffs?
First off, let me just say that I tried to tell y'all.
Hey, I believe only one person on this panel picked the Iron to win, so...
Yeah, Bill.
I tried to tell the Birmingham fans to get ready. They kept tweeting at the Wednesday night podcast, like hyping it up, like hours before the game. Like even Legion Field was tweeting at us.
Yeah, that was really weird, and I thought it was really funny when they tagged us in the post to tell fans to stop throwing stuff on the field at people.
They tagged
I like them.
every post. We're tagged in everything that they post on Twitter on game day.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it though.
No, I like Legion Field. I just think the Iron are the most overrated team in the league.
And I will come clean. I picked them to upset the Apollos because I thought Luis Perez is finally going to throw a touchdown, and I was right.
You were right.
And I certainly didn't see. I really didn't see him getting benched. Although with the way that he was playing, it was deserved. But yeah, I'm concerned for the Iron, and I hope their fans are okay.
Hey, on the bright side, though, I thought they moved the ball well when Keith Price was in there. And also a cool nugget here is I remember playing with Keith Price at NCAA Football 14, the last NCAA football game ever released for the Washington Huskies.
That's wild.
Bring back NCAA football.
Hashtag bring back NCAA football 2005, one of the best NCAA games, I would say.
Which first one is a long-ass hashtag.
Was that the one with Reggie Bush on the cover?
I think so, yeah.
No, Larry Fitzgerald.
No, I don't think it was Larry Fitzgerald. I'd have to look it up, but yeah.
07 was Reggie Bush, 06 was Desmond Howard, 05 was Larry Fitzgerald.
05 was Larry Fitzgerald?
04 was Carson Palmer in the USC.
NCAA football 05.
Well,
who's the one at your
they
which
can
game are
take
you
away
talking
the
about?
championships, they can't take away the video game covers.
I had it on Xbox, but it was who played for Pittsburgh? Who's this person?
Larry Fitzgerald.
That's Larry Fitzgerald?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Interesting.
Is that the game you were talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was a great game. That was the one where they finally put in home field advantage and the game would shake and stuff when you played on the road.
That was nuts.
What is Larry short for?
Larry?
Yeah, what's Larry short for?
Lay.
That's even shorter than Larry.
Yeah, you're right. I just had a weird moment there. I don't know what I was trying to do. Larry.
It's got to be short for something. Larry is too much of a nickname sounding name to not be short for something.
Larry Nold.
Lawrence.
Larry Nold.
Actually, his name is actually Larry. It's Larry Darnell Fitzgerald Jr.
So I don't understand how a baby pops out and then they're just like, what? It'd be a really cool name is Larry.
That kid looks like a Larry. That baby.
It's like people I have a customer that comes in with the name Dick.
Yeah. Logan, I have to tell you, I worked at a car dealership in college.
Yes.
It was Head Motor Company. And I'm not making this up. The guy who owned it, his name was Dick Head.
I hope that's true, Alex.
It really is true. In Columbia, Missouri.
Gotcha. Moving on.
Unreal.
Moving on to Salt Lake Stallions versus San Diego Fleet. Possibly, or I would say the craziest game this past weekend. Bill, you were there. Take it away.
It was a lot of fun. I'm glad that I was in attendance. It maybe wasn't that great of a beginning, whatever, all that, but that ending, man, that's classic. That's an instant classic. In case anyone didn't see it, the Stallions were down. They drove down the field with, I believe, a minute 30 left in the game. They scored a touchdown with, I think, 55 seconds left, and it put them down by 1. So this is the classic AAF scenario. Team ties it up. They got to go for 2. They make the 2. They take the lead. They miss the 2. They're behind. Of course, they made the 2. Very dramatic-like, but they left too much time on the clock. So the Fleet took over at the 25. Berkovici comes in, throws a bomb down the field to Dantes Ford, I believe it was, at about the 33-yard line or so. And that sealed the deal. The kicker came in, made the kick, and the Stallions ended up the Fleet ended up stealing it away from the Stallions at the last minute. Just absolute classic of a game. Very, very fun to be at. Both quarterbacks went over 300 yards. That's great. It was fun. The stadium was rocking. The people were excited. Like, man, it was a good time. I'm glad I went.
You know who looked really good in that game? Berkovici. His helmet was fully buckled, and his true power was shown.
You know, I don't know. I mean, he still finished just one pass over 50%. So for every good throw he had one bad throw. But I mean, he looked better than I was expecting. So, you know, to make the big throw at the end, that kind of made up for a lot of it too. But
he didn't make a Burko believer out of you.
No. Woodrum was a little bit better, but still not so great. Obviously, the 3 interceptions all to what's his name, Cameron Kelly. And I know he got hurt for a little bit. He came out. We all didn't think he was going to end up going back in, but sure enough, they gave him his helmet back. He went back out there and drove him down the field. So he looked pretty good, but I don't know. Berkovici, not really a big believer.
So, were you a Burko believer, though, on that last drive?
I mean, yeah. You know,
that long
you got to
ball.
be at that point.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I was kind of hoping we'd get to see the backup. I'm not even going to pretend to know how to pronounce his name again. But obviously, you got to stick with Berkovici now. I mean, he won the game for him. So he'll be out there again next week, I'm sure.
Alrighty. Nothing else. Move on to our next game. Memphis Express versus the Atlanta Legends. Alex, give it to you.
Well, I correctly predicted the outcome of this game, which I think was my only correct prediction.
Don't act like you didn't want the Met show to win.
I didn't.
I am off the Mettenberger bandwagon. It's Aaron Murray time, baby. I'm a Murray burger.
I'm all for it.
I'm being truly honest with myself, I wanted the Legends to win because I wanted to hear how Logan was going to respond.
I am on the Murray bandwagon now. It's like he's like a grown man playing with kids, just like Mettenberger was. But it's Murray time.
Mettenberger is like he's an anamorph that morphs into a man playing with children, and then he de-anamorphs back into a child being played with by Aaron Murray.
I could see it.
That's a really timely reference for all of you out there who read the Animorphs children's books in the early 90s.
I had all of the Animorph books. I never read them. Just like Goosebumps. I had all the books. Didn't read a single one.
You just got them from the book fair and was like, this cover looks cool.
Exactly. That's how I was as a kid.
Scholastic was like, yeah, we got another one.
I just want to say all aboard the Atlanta Legends to the championship game bandwagon train.
Yeah, I can predict them overtaking the Iron. Iron lose the next.
Oh, it's just I love that they're riding the championship train after beating the Memphis Express because the Express missed the train.
Yeah, well, the Iron are going to lose the next 5 games. Sorry, 4 games, right?
Yeah, they're going to lose this week in San Diego. Without jumping into our predictions.
Yeah. So yeah, nothing else really to talk about that game outside of. Are y'all talking? I can't hear y'all.
Yeah, I'm here.
He cut out during that, Logan. I at least for me, it sounded like he cut out for a second there. If that was just me or not.
No, I heard it a little bit, but it seems like he rebounded, so I'm able to edit that.
Yeah, it probably cut out or something.
But yeah, Aaron Murray good, Zach Mettenberger bad.
We were on the Murray train the whole year. We never were on Mettenberger.
Oh yeah. People are just going to come up with a compilation of how we're contradicting ourselves, and it's going to be great.
That was
so do you call yourself a Mettenberger disbeliever or a disbeliever burger?
Yeah. That wasn't even me talking in the previous podcast. That was somebody else.
Oh yeah, I edited it to sound like you.
Yeah.
By God, it's someone else.
So the last game of the week, Logan, as a former fan of this desert team, take it away.
How about the hot shots? Just down.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I've ever had more fun. Oh, sorry, Logan. I'm stepping all over you.
Down 4 touchdowns and getting it going late in the second half. This team's just never going to get anywhere when they're not being able to play in the first half. They're cooked, man. I'm just finished with them.
Man, they're the opposite of cooked. They're raw as hell. They couldn't light the pilot light in their oven with a freaking flamethrower. It's unbelievable.
And yet they're called the hot shots, ironically.
I have never had more fun shitting on a team than watching the hot shots go down in the opposite of flames in the first half.
Who would have thought that after winning the first 2 games, that this is what this team would be? This is not what I predicted at all.
I guess, the first week they looked awesome, but I guess you could kind of see glimpses that second week against Memphis.
And you saw glimpses in this week as well, the fact that they scored 25 points.
Yeah, I mean...
They rebounded.
Yeah.
It's a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde situation where it's like, okay, which team's going to show up here in this quarter? It's not even game to game. It's like quarter to quarter or, minute to minute. It's a different team.
Here's a question to you, Nick. Who looked worse in the first half, Luis Perez or Wolford?
Luis Perez.
Luis Perez.
I mean, Wolford threw more interceptions, right?
But Wolford knows how to play quarterback. Sorry.
At least he looked good doing it.
Yeah.
Like Perez, like you knew nothing was going to happen at all.
But yeah, hot shots 2 and 3.
And still not out, even though they look terrible.
Yeah. They're only 1 game behind the Fleet and Commanders.
But they have this week, if they could knock off the Apollos, this whole season turns around.
Yeah.
But they have to beat Garrett Gilbert and Charles Johnson.
Right. So we'll go ahead and move on to our Week 5 power rankings. And since we're talking about the hot shots, number 8, I'm going hot shots.
Oof, brutal.
And I think it's fair. I'll agree with you because every other team looks better than the hot shots right now, I think. You could argue that the Iron don't look that good right now, and I don't think they do. But at least Keith Price came in and actually looked halfway decent for that offense. Like they actually moved the ball at one point.
Yeah, I would agree. All right. Any other thoughts at number 8?
Yeah, I think that we're because the Express and Legends game was so entertaining. I think we're giving them more credit than they deserve. You got to remember that they're playing each other, the worst 2 teams in the league, and so of course both of them are going to look better than they did before. I would still keep the Express at number 8, but I do recognize that the hot shots look like absolute garbage.
Yeah. Alex, and who you got at number 7 then?
I think I'd put the Express at number 7.
I agree.
It sounds like that the Express are going to eternally be at number 7 on our power rankings.
That's kind of been like their average every single week.
Right. Bill, who you got at number 6?
Oh boy, I want to throw the Iron here, but
Do it.
the Stallions just can't win. I mean,
Yeah, but who looks
at some
better?
point, I mean, honestly, all right, I'm going with the Iron then. The Stallions look like they can win a game, but Keith Price looked better than Perez, but man, they're overrated. So I'm going to go Iron, and I'll take the flack for it.
All right. Logan, who you got at number 5?
I'm going to take the Atlanta Legends. I'm gonna.
Oh wow.
It's really tight between them and the Stallions,
Yeah.
but I give the Stallions the slight nod because they've lost some really close games this year where they could easily be 3-2 or something like that. It's been a tough year where they just can't finish.
And you know what you can finish
Forever
with?
the best of worst team.
You know what you can finish with?
Well, what's that, Nick?
Blue Chew.
Blue Chew helps you finish?
Blue Chew helps you finish, and let me. If there's a. I should have looked this up before. I wasn't prepared yet.
Did they send us a script?
No. They never got back to us.
You know what's funny though? You sent that message to them like shortly after, like they liked one of our tweets.
Yeah, well, I think they
retweeted that commercial.
Yeah.
Right. But they liked one of the other random statuses we put on there.
Oh, gotcha.
All right, so I'll go ahead and start with this and just edit in. Blue Chew believes healthcare doesn't have to be a pain, expensive, embarrassing, or inconvenient. Blue Chew is a unique service started by passionate entrepreneurs in 2014 to help people get access to convenient, affordable, chewable tablets for more confidence in bed. Members of Blue Chew get access to a medical team trained in diagnosing and treating patients with custom treatments for improved sexual confidence. The healthcare system in the U.S. is broken and needs to be reimagined with the patient in mind. Our tech and support teams are laser focused on providing access to prescription treatments made in the form, flavor, and dosage that are right for you. We invite you to experience the Blue Chew difference and get the treatment that works for you. But okay.
Can I add to that real quick?
Yeah, you can add.
Have you ever wanted a communion wafer that gives you a boner? I can't.
Is Blue Chew?
Have you ever wanted a...
Is that Blue Chew?
Well, for some, it isn't even Blue Chew.
Yeah.
You're going to have to cut me out. That was terrible.
I liked it, though.
I just want to tell you that I love Blue Chew. Mamma mia!
That's a spicy meatball.
Good night, Irene! So... Was it my go? Alright, yeah, it would have been my go, sorry.
I think we're at 4.
Yeah. At number 4... I will go with the Stallions. They are 1-4, but they are still in our top 4.
It's a little bit crazy. It's a crazy world out there.
Yeah.
That 4 through 8 is not very easy to pick from. I feel like Birmingham's a very overrated to what their record is. Like I feel like those 4 through 8 teams are very like in that same tier.
Yeah, I would agree. Number 3, Alex.
Let's see. I think I'm putting the Fleet at number 3.
Oh, wow.
That might be a little bit of a controversial decision, but the reason for that is that the Commanders have put together a more consistent performance, and even though the Fleet do have good home field advantage, the Commanders have great home field advantage.
Yeah. So that brings us to number 2, Bill.
I got to go Commanders.
All right.
And I agree with you, Alex. I don't think it's that controversial. I think the Fleet fit in perfectly right behind the Commanders.
And
I
then,
feel validated.
And then our number 1, Logan. Who you got this week?
Pick of the week.
The lock of the week.
Orlando, Florida. The Orlando Apollos.
I like it. That was
Just real quick, while we're on the topic of the Apollos, did you guys check out the Spurrier cam last week?
Yes.
They had an entire camera devoted to Steve Spurrier, and by God, that is genius. Genius.
This guy draws ratings.
I know, single-handedly. The coach of the team is drawing people to the stadium and to the ice, to the TV. Man, that's crazy. But
when are we going to call this the Steve Spurrier League?
If he wins the championship this year, they should name the trophy after him.
It's going to be the Steve
Hell, they should
Spurrier
name it after
ship.
him if they don't win the tournament.
I would say. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
If the Apollos do not win, is this going to be a bigger upset than UMBC over UVA last year?
No. But I will say, I would also like to see a Mike Martz cam. Because he gets very heated as well.
He does, but he also looks like an old stack of pancakes.
He does.
I'm not sure they could fit him in the screen.
Oh my God!
I'm sorry, that was me.
No, that was good. That was good.
Gained a little bit of weight since I last saw him.
He's now the largest show on turf.
So moving on to our Week 6 predictions, we first have the Memphis Express taking on the Salt Lake Stallions in Salt Lake at Utes Stadium, Saturday, March 16th at 4 p.m. on, oh Lord, BR Live. Who y'all got?
Give me the cold horsies.
All right.
This is the hardest slate of games I think to pick from this year. Maybe. I'll take Salt Lake. I think they finally. I think they get a win at home. Their second win at home. Excuse me.
So I'm still on the Mettenberger bandwagon. So I'm going Memphis Express. Honestly, I don't care about this game at all, and I got the Express.
I'm going Stallions, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay. All right. So y'all think Carter Schultz will get to Mettenberger, and Mettenberger will look like the child, and Schultz will look like the adult in the situation?
Yes, he's going to get to him 6 times.
If the Stallions
I do care about this game.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Bill. I do care about this game, and I'm going to say that the Stallions win if their secondary can hold up, because that's been a big weak link on their team.
So it's possible Mettenberger could expose their secondary and make them look like children.
It's possible. I think it's also important for us to pick the over-under on the attendance.
5,000.
Over.
Oof. I mean, if we're talking paid attendance, it's going to be over. But again, how many people actually go to the game? I don't know.
Depends on the weather, too.
I
Stallions
think they
can't
see
keep
less
losing,
than
though.
8,000.
They gotta win. They gotta win.
It's cold. That's all I care about. I'm not going to the game.
Neither is anybody else. It's okay.
You know what? It was a little chilly in San Diego, so I can't imagine how cold it actually is going to be in Salt Lake.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to the Saturday night game at 8 p.m. on the NFL Network. You have the game of the week. Arizona Hotshots versus the Orlando Apollos in Orlando. I got the Apollos. It psyched you out.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you chose the Hotshots as the upset to beat the Apollos, didn't you, last week?
We are no longer a Hotshots affiliated podcast.
I see.
I am taking any mention of the Hotshots out of our intros. Yes. And if they do beat the Apollos, the Hotshots might end up being at number 1 next week on our power rankings. The Apollos are at number 8. I'm just kidding. But yeah, who y'all got?
Apollos. I think by a couple scores here at home. It's going to be tough.
Give me the Arizona Hotshots, baby.
Oof.
They turn it around this week.
Oof.
I think the Orlando Apollos win after Garrett Gilbert gets benched for throwing 3 interceptions.
That might be a hotter take than me saying the Hot Shots win. That they win without Garrett Gilbert.
So moving on to the Sunday afternoon game at 4 p.m. on the CBS Sports Network, you have San Antonio Commanders taking on the Atlanta Legends. Who y'all got?
I think this is going to be a good game. Aaron Murray looked good last week. The Commanders are a good team. I don't know who to pick, though. I'm going to let you guys pick, and I'm going to circle back around while I think about it.
It's going to be the Aaron Murray show. Hands down.
I think so, too. I'm going to take the Atlanta Legends at home. If this game is played in San Antonio, I take the Commanders because that's a tough place to play. But I'm going to take Atlanta at home. I believe in Aaron Murray. I am a Murray Burger believer.
I'm taking the Commanders on the road in a close game. I think that the Commanders, it's not on the Commanders that the Hot Shots came back. I feel like the Hot Shots always click in the second half. So the Commanders continue that steady, good but not amazing football that they've got and beat the Legends.
All right. Bill, who you got?
All right. I'm going to go with the Commanders as well.
Oh, man.
You know, if Murray plays another good game, I might start believing in them. But the Commanders they've got good players at like every position, every position group. So I'm going Commanders by a touchdown.
So you're saying if the Legends win, you're going to call yourself a Murray Burger believer?
Yes.
Do it.
Totally. I mean, he looked good last week. There's no doubt. But do they have the rest of the team in place? I'm not sure. So we'll see.
All right.
I think it's going to be a good game, though. That's probably going to be the one I spend most of my focus on.
Even as a Fleet fan?
Yeah, because I don't really think the Iron are that good. So
Yeah.
I'm spoiler alert. I'm going Fleet here.
All right, and you can see that game Sunday night at 8 p.m. on the NFL Network, the dreaded Sunday night game.
Got a question for you guys since we got no mailbag. Go ahead, your mailbag entrance if you would.
All right.
I will provide the question this week.
Okay. All right, we'll do that after this.
Oh, okay.
Come on, jumping the gun, Logan. I got the Fleet.
I'm taking the Fleet as well.
That leaves me, huh?
Is it bad that I forgot about this game and I thought this segment was over?
I'm leaving that in.
I really did. Like, I was looking at like the games and I still like my brain was just like processing that we already went over this game. I don't know why, but I'll take the Fleet.
I'm picking the Iron. There, long ago, 2 weeks ago, the Fleet were in the bottom half of the league because everybody was convinced that without their starting quarterback, they couldn't do anything. And I think that they end up showing that last week it was their best game of the year.
All right. Anything
Could be.
else? Oh, sorry, Bill.
No, I mean, I think it could have been, but I don't know. I'm still on the Iron overrated bandwagon, but we'll see.
Alrighty. And without further ado, it's now time for the Wednesday night mailbag. Give me some questions. All right, Logan. Since you are our mailbag this week, what is your question or questions, plural?
All right, I got a very important question, and it comes from myself. If Aaron Murray invited you to eat hamburgers with him, would you guys go?
Are you asking if I want to have a Murray burger?
Yeah. If he's like out on the back porch and he's like, "Yo, man, want me to grill you a burger? Like, are you gonna eat it?" Or like, "Nah, man, that's not for me."
Only if he gets it from Five Guys.
I need to know what kind of toppings are available.
I could see like him having like the most random toppings ever, like, you know, I don't know, like like randomly like pepperonis and like anchovies and like artichokes. Like I could just see Aaron Murray putting like the most random toppings on his burger.
All right, I will say this. I'm going to repeat what I said last week, which is that I weigh an undisclosed amount that requires that I show up and eat that burger, regardless of what the toppings are.
Just like throwing fish on it.
I don't eat burgers without some sort of pepper, though. Jalapeno, chili pepper, whatever. So if he's got peppers, I'm game.
I'm a big fan of jalapenos.
Yeah.
Can you say jalapenos again?
Jalapenos.
For me, I have to have French fries with it, whether it's on the burger or to the side. It has to have French fries. Also, corn.
My
on the
number
cob.
one burger topping is peanut butter.
Ooh, you would love Triple X at Purdue then.
I bet I would.
The Drew Brees burger.
Has peanut butter on it.
It's got some fantastic peanut butter on the top.
I had this killer fried mac and cheese burger in Myrtle Beach. Like it sounds like terrible, but it ended up being great.
That's where they play golf?
Yeah. There's like 5 million golf courses down there in South Carolina on the coast.
It's also home of the lady that's on Wheel of Fortune that just sits there and points to
I
stuff.
believe you are referring to Vanna White.
Yeah.
Gets paid millions.
I was going to
to
say
just
Farrah
play.
Fawcett, but it's not Farrah Fawcett.
No. Farrah
Rest in
Fawcett.
peace,
Oh,
Farrah
no.
Fawcett.
Did you know that she and Pat Sajak only work 6 weeks a year?
Hey, more power to him.
Power to him. Oh, damn.
They record enough. They record enough shows in 6 weeks to play the entire year, and then they just are on vacation the rest of the time.
Also, fun fact: did you guys know Farrah Fawcett died on the same day as Michael Jackson? Like it kind of went overlooked that
No.
it was
That's
the same
cursed.
exact day, but like nobody paid attention to it because of Michael Jackson. Like, I mean, it's a huge deal, but like she died the same exact day.
I
That's
remember that
probably
because I was morbidly fascinated with Farrah Fawcett after seeing her on that Comedy Central roast where she was
Yeah.
completely hammered.
Oh yeah,
Um,
maybe that's why Nick thought that she was still on Wheel of Fortune. He didn't
Rest in
know
peace,
she
Farrah
died
Fawcett.
the same day as Michael Jackson. So this might be the first time he heard she was dead, even
Yeah.
though it was 10 years ago.
actually, this is the first time that I've heard that she's.
Oh my God, Michael Jackson died 10 years ago?
It's hard to believe. I do feel like it was just recently.
Billy Mays died like a month later. I remember the episode of South Park that year that showed
Oh, yeah.
all the dead people from that year.
On that airplane is Kyle's little brother. Sees dead celebrities.
Man, was that the one?
No, that's a different episode. This is one. It was a spoof of The Sixth Sense, where Kyle's little brother keeps seeing dead celebrities.
We just want to say this episode is dedicated to the memory of Michael Jackson and Farrah Fawcett. Thank you
And
for
Billy
everything
Mays.
you did for us.
Hi, Billy Mays here with the Wednesday Night AAF podcast.
Sponsor us, Billy Mays.
Hashtag sponsor us, Billy Mays from the dead.
Hashtag rest in peace.
Hashtag OxyClean. Hashtag but wait, there's more.
Is he just going to like rise up like The Undertaker and just start talking to us?
Something flex tape.
No, that's another guy.
I know.
Have you seen the JonTron video?
Phil Swift. Say what?
Have you seen the JonTron video?
Both of them.
Yeah. So closing thoughts before we move on to recording the bonus episode.
Disappointed with the team in Phoenix. They win this week, though. Book it.
Is this show coming out on Wednesday?
The one that we're recording now, yes, I will edit it tomorrow night. I have to. go to
If
bed
you're
soon.
listening to this on Wednesday, shitposting legend Urinating Tree will be on r/AAFB on Thursday, which is tomorrow for you, at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Please come and join us. We would love to have you. He is an awesome dude and can answer some of your questions about any coverage of the AAF, NFL, NHL, NBA, and how to be a legendary shitposter on YouTube.
Is he the dude that does sports ball?
Yes, he does sports
I love
ball
that
and Days of Our Steelers.
Yes. I
Gonna be a
recommend
good
you guys
time.
check him out. He's awesome.
Oh yeah, he's really funny. I'm gonna use my closing thoughts. I know we were talking about game show hosts before, so I'm gonna make it a little bit serious and say shout out to Alex Trebek. Don't know if you guys heard, but he announced he's got stage 4 pancreatic cancer. All-time legend in the the game show host world. So hoping he pulls through, and we get another 10 years of Alex Trebek.
Well said. Get well soon, Alex Trebek. We need you, dude.
Yes, we do. The world is a better place with him in it.
Speaking of Alex Trebek, did you guys see that episode? Probably a few weeks back, it was on Twitter, and they were just Alex Trebek was like asking sports questions, and like these people had no idea what any of the questions were. So Alex Trebek just starts like bashing them because they don't know the answers to any of these sports questions.
I think I do remember that.
I'll see if I can try to find it, and I'll see if I can send it out via our Twitter. It's pretty great because he's just like, do you guys just not watch any sports? Should we just skip the rest of the topics?
Speaking of Twitter, hopefully you don't get hacked again like we did Sunday night where someone tweeted out about Dave Bautista. I clarified that I was hacked. I have no idea why anybody would tweet that. And
That wasn't you? I responded to that.
oh, really?
Never mind. Yeah, there was somebody out there that runs the account as well that did that.
Okay. Gotcha.
I don't know who that might have been, but
I don't know either.
it could happen again in the future. I apologize if we do get hacked, but just sorry for it happening.
Yeah.
Could happen again.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, so you can follow us on Twitter at AAF Wednesday. My closing thoughts. I really liked this episode. It was fast and quick. And I'm excited to do this bonus episode. So yeah, thank you guys for listening. And we'll see you next week.
All right, bye.